Well, it is early July, so there's not a whole lot in bloom anymore here at the clearing, but there are a few things, starting with our native campanula. This is called harebell. The campanulas as a group are called bellflowers often. But this is a little delicate, fine textured campanula. I see it mostly along the edge of the escarpment in Door County. But we planted these in this wall planting several years ago. They move a lot in the wind because they're so fine. I can't remember why it's called harebell, Harebell. I forget why, but that's what it's called. And here it is in front of the Jansen Center in full bloom, harebell. Some things are beginning to form their fruit. This is starry false Solomon seal, which bloomed back in May. But here are the developing berry-like fruits. They'll turn a little more red later, but they look like little beach balls. Very attractive. I think between birds and squirrels, they all get eaten when they're ripe, but they're very attractive while they're in fruit. Starry false Solomon seal. This is one of our several native anemones. This is a Canada anemone right in front of the Jansen Center. And as anemones go, it has one of the larger flowers. I think pretty much all anemones are white, most of them anyway. And this is a later blooming one with this nice foliage. And as a group, anemones are often called wind flowers. They're pollinated by the wind, not by insects. So collectively, wind flowers. But this is Canada anemone. Here's another one just trying to form its fruit. This is Solomon's plume, or also called false Solomon seal. What they consider the true Solomon seal has the flowers underneath the stem. This is in a cluster out at the end. And back in May, this was a big cluster of creamy white flowers, and they turn into ultimately red berries or berry-like fruits. They'll be 2 to 3 times larger than this when they are fully ripe, and they'll be red. And then at which time squirrels and birds eat them. But they're very showy both in bloom and in fruit. Solomon's plume or false Solomon seal. Well, as you know, not everything that grows at the clearing is something we want. This is helleborine orchid, and you hear the word orchid, you assume that's a good thing, but in this case it's not. This is an invasive plant, an invasive orchid. And I honestly can't tell you what the flowers turn into, because whenever I see it, it's in this stage, I pull it. And it breaks off, and I'm not sure if they resprout that from that far down or not. But we never let them get to the point where they bloom around here. But so that's one that, again, you hear orchid, you assume it's great. This one is not great. Helleborine orchid. This huge plant right here, which looks like it must be a shrub, it's approaching 6 feet tall and 6 feet wide, is actually a native wildflower that'll die back to the ground in late fall. This is spikenard with these big leaves, massive plant, just about to bloom. These will open in another week or so. And those big flower clusters, which are kind of a whitish yellow, they'll eventually form a cluster of reddish fruits that the birds eat, but not quite in bloom yet. But we've had so much rain the last 2.5 months that things are just growing like crazy, and I've never seen a spikenard this large. Again, it's approaching as tall as I am, and it's easily that wide. So it's incredible. Spikenard. We don't have a lot of milkweed, common milkweed at the clearing. I wish we had more. It's such a great pollinator plant and so showy when it's in bloom. And this is probably the nicest patch on the road that goes to behind the Jensen Center. But this is the one that, this and other milkweeds are the only plants that monarch butterflies lay their eggs on, and that the caterpillars eat, and then of course they form their chrysalis and an adult monarch emerges. So this is a really valuable plant, not just in general as a pollinator, but specifically and particularly for monarch butterflies, common milkweed.